Fantastic. Awesome. Okay. I just want to start off by saying thank you, right? Thank you for being here. Thank you for being on the podcast. I really do appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to just sit down and chat. I really do.
Yeah. No, thank you for having me here, actually, and reaching out and everything. It's an honor.
Your work kind of speaks for itself. You are a truly talented artist. I was looking at your work, I think more so today than in any time I've actually ever looked at it, because I was having you on and I was just trying to figure out, like, what the heck, bro? Like, how do you do what you do? It for me, it makes no sense. I saw you doing one of your sketches in your books, and I'm like, I mean, I've got so many questions, and we'll obviously get into that. So we'll get to that when we get to that. But I just want to start off by asking how you're doing. Like, how's life? How's 2022 going? And how are you generally?
Nah, life is okay. It's all right. I can't really complain. 2022 is much better, I'd say, compared to like maybe 2020, COVID hit and everything. But I'd say it's all right. I'm all right. I'm
You
doing
you
okay.
sound okay. You sound chilled. You don't sound like you
Yeah.
got too much pressure.
I mean, of course. Pressure will always be there. Will always be there, man. Like the pressures of life and everything. But yeah, you have to go through it. Yeah.
You have to
I've
navigate it.
really,
You figure out how
yeah,
to deal with
yeah.
it.
You have to navigate it and just go through it. I really thank God, really, also for being where I'm at right now.
That's what's up, bro.
Yeah,
That's what's
definitely,
up. I
definitely.
mean, where would we
Yeah,
be without God, right?
where?
Where would we be, right, without God? So I appreciate you, just throwing that in there as well. It will allow me to ask certain type of questions. You never know these days. You don't want to rub people the wrong way, but
No, not
I
at all.
appreciate you
Yeah.
giving me that platform. So I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
But I think also for people who are listening and they probably don't know what you're into, I'll definitely like leave links to your work in the description and all that. But tell me what you do creatively. And I know when people look at someone's work and what they do, they can easily define it in terms of what it means to them and what they see or think that person does. But you step up to a person and ask them what it is that you do, and they define it completely differently. So tell us, tell me what it is that you're into creatively. Yeah,
Okay, so what I'm into creatively as a whole, or
just as a whole,
just
in general,
yeah,
and how
in
would you
general?
define it?
Well, I do art. I think art has been like the longest standing thing in my life for the longest time ever. So yeah, I don't remember when I started doing art. Like it's that integrated into my life. But yeah, I do art, and I right now I'm currently doing a lot of like with my school and everything. I'm not designing, more on the problem solving you know spectrum than anything else. Yeah.
That's interesting. You mentioned your school work, and what is it
Yeah.
exactly that you're studying?
So I'm studying interior architecture, or otherwise known as interior design, depending on where like where it's being studied at. But yeah, that's what I'm studying. Mostly it has to do with like what's this functionality, human occupancy. It's kind of like a blend of art and science, to create a
And how are
more.
you finding it? What year are you in, and how are you finding it so far?
It's challenging. It's very technical. It's very challenging, and it's very interesting as well. Like because we take for granted certain things. Like we spend 90% of our time within interior spaces, and we don't even realize how much of an impact they have on our lives, and how our functionality and our work, and just in general, all those things. So yeah, it's a very crucial thing. It's a very crucial thing to live and work in a space that is well designed to suit you, and um, yeah, it's a it's a journey and a half. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that you found something you enjoy. Okay, wait. I hope you enjoy it. You enjoy it, right?
I do enjoy. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's critical. It's very critical to find something that you're passionate about, I think it's so much easier then to get into the work and the tasks and endure, the difficult parts of it if you are truly passionate about it. So I'm glad you found that for yourself. And so was that something you always wanted to do growing up? Architecture?
Yes, it's always something that I want to do. I think
No
the
ways. You
longest
were in
time.
grade 4 and you were like, I want to be an architect.
You have no
Get out of here, bro.
idea. You have no idea.
Everybody else is like, I want to be a policeman. I want to be a doctor. It's just
I
like, I want
know,
to
I
be an
know.
architect.
Like ever since I was a kid, like I would like build stuff, you know. Christmas lights.
Dang.
Yeah, I'd take Christmas lights, retrofit them, make circuits and
Get out
everything.
of here, bro.
Yeah, make a whole town type of situation, and I always really enjoyed doing that. And growing up, I was pretty much alone most of the time. So because my sisters and my brothers are always much older than I am, so they used to go like off to varsity and all this stuff. So yeah, I was pretty much alone for most of my years, and I used to really enjoy my space and just really entertain myself, I guess. And from there, yeah, and then from there, I just got into it, and I never looked back, I guess.
I mean, you find that a lot with a lot of creatives, that they enjoy their own space, You just mentioned that story about you just finding things to fiddle with and retrofit and fix and invent and create. It reminds me as well of a young lad that I know who's very similar to you. His siblings are much older than him, so they left the house, and this kid was just out here literally making robots and things from junk. And I'm just like, wow, like how, But I think it's a very critical part of who we are as creatives, just like enjoying our own space. And then I think in that space, being able to find ways to uh, think and create and come up with new ideas. But for yourself, on the other end of the spectrum, do you think that uh, in your creativity, and I've seen you've done quite a few things in the creative space, do you think that being someone who was a little bit extroverted, a little bit of a people person, being able to network was crucial or was needed, for you to get your work out there?
Of course, of course. Like you need to,
Mm.
I really enjoy my space for sure, and I really enjoy being alone sometimes. But you need to be also be able to like switch it up and go out there and really connect with people and talk to people and show them who you are and talk, just put yourself out there because it's very important. It's very important. Like I'm more of an in my space type of person, but if need be and I need to go out there and speak to people, I can, and it's a very required thing to do. Yeah, and
That's dope.
yeah,
I like that, and I've seen that it's needed as well in my space. And I mean, it's a podcast, right? So I need to speak to people, and I need to be out there. But I very much relate to you in terms of enjoying my own space. I really love just I can, like, you could leave me for a week at home and like I'd be like good for it, Um, but I think I realized that I get to think and really process things in that time in my space when I'm alone, and probably come up with some of the best ideas in my head. But just like hearing that you grew up, fiddling and doing all these things with your hands, was there anything specifically in your life that drew you towards that, or you just naturally levitated towards being creative and wanting to invent and create and do all these things?
I can't say anything drew me towards it.
So there was like no
I
family member who's like who can sing or
no
maybe
family
dance
member,
or
nothing,
hey,
nothing,
for real.
nothing.
Wow.
Maybe I would say my sister. She dabbled a bit into it. She used to draw at some point, and then she stopped. But yeah, I'd say maybe her. But no, not really. Not a lot of people in my family were very creative, I guess. No. Or
That's very
yeah.
interesting. That's very interesting. I know for myself, my pops, wow, is just a man of many talents, I guess to say the least, into all kinds of different things. And when I saw your art, that reminded me of him. I was like, There are quite a few people that I can look at in terms of their drawings, and I can literally count them on both my hands. In the entire world could see these people, and you are one of them for sure. Like, I'm telling you, I was looking at your work. Ah, I'm like, it's unreal. It's unreal that just someone's hand, just someone's straight hand, just comes up with this, and then from the mind onto paper, which is really amazing. But what's your earliest memory of your art? I think especially the art that's on your Instagram, I guess. And that's probably, I would then assume that's you taking art a little bit more seriously, starting to post, maybe do a little bit more commissions and having your work, displayed in certain places. What's your earliest memory of that journey?
My earliest memory, wow, of my Instagram or just in general in the whole art.
I think I think in general, but then as well as you taking it a lot more
Taking it
seriously and
seriously.
starting to do commissions. Yeah, yeah.
I would say my earliest memory is when I was a kid, like maybe 7 thereabout. Yeah, because I remember I would like do like small doodles with I'll just see something and I'll try and like do a copy of it and everything freehand. And then my parents would be like, "Oh, look at him! Look how so how meticulous he's doing it." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, this is something I can do.
Mm.
This is something I know I enjoy.
Okay,
This is
okay.
something
I
I'm
see. I see. Yeah.
do." Yeah, and then so from there, I was just very artistically inclined from the beginning, and during my primary school, during my high school, I took up art throughout those times and everything. So um, I think after high school is when I wanted to maybe start, getting commissions for it and being more serious with it. And I started posting on Instagram. And yeah, I think the earliest I've posted was 2018 or 2017, thereabout, just outside of high
That's not
school.
too
And
far ago.
yeah,
That's
it's
not too
not too
far
far
ago.
ago.
And
Yeah,
and
it's
you
not
were
too
just
far.
like keeping your art to yourself, keeping it away from us.
Yeah. I was. But no, for sure. I think there about the time that's when I started actually wanting to do something and actually, putting it out there. Yeah.
So what's the shift? Like, how do you go from doing art for 20 odd years of your life, and then you're like, I'm ready to share this. I want to put it onto Instagram. Why? Like, what made you make that decision?
Whew. Um,
It's-
I, that's a really deep question right there. I would say
okay.
what made me change was um, I felt I needed to say something, and I'm very passionate. I'm super passionate about just um, you know societal problems and just in general how people view things and perspectives. And I like reaching out to people and just connecting with them on a much deeper level, and making them think about things that they never used to like think about, or things they kind of like overlook, that type of situation. And so yeah, I like expressing those things and expressing just experiences in life and all that. So I guess that 21 years was just festering and building up, and I was like, you know what, let me just start doing it. And so I just put it out there and I started doing it.
Which is beautiful, and I didn't intend for it to be a deep question.
Yeah.
But I appreciate
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing. Like, and I see it in your work as well. It's not just the art, and I think your art does have a story to tell. And I've seen you also try to um, script really intentional, what they call them, captions, right? Yeah, and like it took me on a trip, man. Like, it's a whole immersive thing, and I'm big on arts, and I'll probably just keep drooling over your work. But it's just like looking at the art and then looking at the story behind it, and then looking at the intention of the person. I don't know if people really take time out to really read some of the things that you write, but it's some incredibly powerful stuff. And I'm just like, I can't wait to see you back making fresh content, making new stuff. um but and I think we'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit. But you spoke about something that stuck out to me, and it was something about your parents and how they kind of influenced you continuing to do this art thing, and them just looking over your work and being like, you know what, this guy's good, you know, like, damn, okay. Um, and for me, that's just kind of also reminds me of my parents and how supportive they are. But in general, I think it just comes back to the concept of needing support or some kind of affirmation as a content creator, as a creative. You know, did you get that? Did you not get that? How did you feel when you got that, and how did it impact your creative journey? You know.
Oh, I got that. I got a lot of that. From my mom mostly. Um, she was very like, "Oh, he's a very creative person. Let's push him towards this. Let's do this." And whenever I used to say, "Oh, I want to do this," and she wouldn't be, um, telling me, "No, don't do it," that type of situation. She was very encouraging actually towards it, and she let me do. And I think one of the greatest things that she did was she let me do whatever I wanted to do.
Ah,
And
that's beautiful, man.
she
Shout out
she
to
didn't.
mom. Big shout out
Yeah,
to
shout
mom.
out to mom. Big shout out. She never really like restricted me and say, okay, no, you should do this. This makes more sense. No, no. She's like, okay, what do you want to do? We sit down. What do you want to do? And I'll tell her all the things I want to do and what I'm passionate about. And she's like, okay, let's do that. And yeah, for that.
It's beautiful because you know, and I think growing up in Zim, you know for sure for a fact that a lot of kids don't get that. But just like not in Zim, but just like generally in the world. I know the Western countries are a little bit more accepting and understanding, but I've had so many people from that part of the world who still say that, you know, it's not easy. Like people still think, you know, being a creative person, being a creative individual is not something that deserves energy, time, and investment. So being able to grow up in a space where it's looked down upon and have some of the most, I guess, important people in your life, some of the people that really do influence where you end up supporting that. Again, it's just like thanks to God, you know, like it's a beautiful thing to have um, in your life. But I think, what do you think then in generally about that topic about um, the way I guess the community, and it's obviously a much more deeper conversation, but on the surface, what do you think of the way it is back home in Zim with, you know, things of a creative nature not really being looked at as something that's a potential way to actually live and earn money and survive? So it goes beyond just art, but everything creative, you know, music, dance, acting, directing, photography, video, all that stuff. Like, what do you think about that? And do you think it's something that's ever going to change or needs to change?
Mm. Of course, I mean, I get where they're coming from. Also, like
Yeah. Mm.
it's not easy to be to be a creative person in Zimbabwe. It's not an easy thing.
100%.
It's not an easy thing. I mean, people work hard and put in a lot of effort into it, and then they just they barely make it. And yeah, and it's those exceptions. One in a few. Who actually go out and really become something out of all of that. So I would understand where they're coming from, sure, and it's something that needs to change definitely. Because I feel like there's a lot of creativity in Africa, is just in general as a
Wow.
whole.
You have no
Yeah,
idea, bro.
there's
Sheesh.
so much creativity, and it's just you know that Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We're just
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
we're just barely making it. we just have the first two blocks.
Just the first two.
Yeah, survival,
That's so true,
shelter,
bro. And safety
security.
needs.
So by the time you get to self actualization, I mean, there's not a
Oh,
lot of
you're so real.
that. There's not a lot of that. So
Mm.
yeah, so I guess also the state of just in general, the state of everything that's in them, and it's kind of like hindering a lot of um, what can I say, artistic talent coming out of it, because there is a lot, there is a lot, but you need to put food on the table. Someone you need to put food on the table. I mean, you're not gonna think of I wanna hang something in my room because it makes me feel this way when you can't even you know, when you can't
That's
even
funny.
eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess priorities, I guess. And it's a very deep um it's a very deep what's this problem that really needs to be fixed from the ground up, and it'll probably take a long time for it, for that to happen. And I'm also very passionate about that specifically, and I really want to get back and give back in some way or the other into all of that. Plowing back into Africa, into Zimbabwe, and really, trying to bring that aspect out more, and giving it a bigger platform than it already has right now.
I share the same sentiments, and I'm with you on that. I think it'd be really dope to just like chat some more off screen about that specifically, because I definitely feel the same way. And like I said before, I asked the question, it's a much bigger topic, and you said something very important. There are priorities. There are things that we do need to fix in the country in general before we get to that, which is sad, man. Like, that art is a luxury. Like, what the heck? Come on,
It's a
bro.
luxury. It's a
It's
luxury.
just it's a luxury, bro. It
Yeah.
becomes a luxury. Being creative becomes a luxury, uh, and it's just you taking your mind and expressing what's in your head physically. How can that be a luxury? So there's obviously so many things that we need to sort out and get to before we reach there. But I think like you, I do have it deep in my heart to just somehow, some way, figure out a way to give back and kind of allow that community to grow, and that space to just have people grow up, knowing that it's something they can do. I mean, you don't really have to get paid for it, and you don't really have to um, make a living from it, but having that outlet um, is very fulfilling, and I guess in a lot of ways keeps a lot of people out of trouble. So I
and and, and
appreciate
and
you.
and and I think you're actually doing it, to some extent, and I really appreciate this, actually, just you reaching out and saying, oh, you know what, I think we should do something. Not a lot of people do that. Not a lot of people really follow follow the art that happens and want to, really give it a platform of some sort. And this was really nice. It's really nice and refreshing to see.
I appreciate you saying that, and I
Yeah.
think it goes both ways, because not everyone I reach out to wants to be on the podcast. So it's twofold, man. It's
Oh
it's
yeah.
twofold,
Yeah.
and so is everything in life.
Mm, mm.
Um, I think most importantly, so is our relationship with God, man. Like, um, what's faith without actions? So I think if I want certain things to happen, and the next person wants certain things to happen, we kind of just like need to meet in the middle, and make things work. So I appreciate you as well, being here. It does mean a lot. But I want to talk a little bit more about your art, which, sheesh, I think I'll just have to flight it on screen for people to really do get an understanding of how incredible it is. But like, what inspires you, man? Like, your work is so unique. It's so different. It's almost like you started making NFT art on paper before NFTs were even a thing. Like, straight up, I'm telling you. I was looking at it and I'm like, if we can turn this digital, we can make a lot of money, man. For
Yeah.
real, man. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you were making like incredible things on paper that people are now making digitally. Like, so what's your inspiration, man? Like, where do your ideas come from, and what's the workflow like? What's the process like?
So there's no particular workflow. I really trust the process most of the time. It's more to do with self-expression, really. And what really inspires me is, as I said, like experiences, just people in general, certain conversations that I have, and it really, if it sparks something, some form of creative, you know, path, or I'll take it and I'll go down a rabbit hole. I'll go down a rabbit
And
hole,
my
and I'll
goodness, that rabbit hole is deep.
yeah, that type
Wow.
of situation. So yeah, no, I do that a lot. Just it comes to me most of the time. I never particularly say, oh, my inspiration comes from this specific point only. Like it's always like random things that I find interesting, that I'm curious about, or something that really jumps at me, or and inspires me in any way. And yeah, I try and put it out as much as possible. I'm just like what can I say? I'm a vessel. I'm a conduit of some sort.
You are an incredible vessel, a blessing, man. Like, dude, your work is insane. Like, I won't stop saying it because it's you can't. I can't say it enough. I really genuinely can't say it enough, and I think it's a shame, And I'm not trying to make you feel bad, but it's a shame that there's only so much of it, to marvel at.
Yeah.
And I'm not
No,
trying to
no, for
make you feel
sure.
bad. I
It's
know,
coming. It's coming definitely.
but it's
Yeah.
like I can sit and it's your type of art. It draws me in. I'll speak for myself. It'll draw me in, and I'll sit there and I'll just look and try and analyze and try and figure out, okay, what were you trying to do? And then I'm like, you know what? How does it make me feel? And then I'm just like, again, like you said, a rabbit hole, man. Like I'm seeing things that probably I'm only seeing, and the next person's seeing it differently, and this and that. But speaking of how it makes me feel and what I see, and also like your intention of wanting it to make people feel a certain way, which is incredible. How does it make you feel? How does your art and being in that space, going through that process and then finally completing it, how does all that make you feel?
It's a journey. I really love the process more than the actual result,
It's
because
like every creative says that.
no,
It's
for
very
sure. Like
interesting.
figuring it out, because it's like the anticipation of it and the curiosity of, okay, what am I going to do next, or how am I going to put this together. It's more satisfying, and then you're finally doing it, and you're doing it. Once it's done, you're like, okay, there's no more there's nothing else I can do to it now. I'm done with it, and it's out to the world, and I've released it. And it's like, okay, that's cool, what's next. And it's more of a thing of, the process is really enjoyable. It's really figuring things out, and problem solving. It's also some form of problem solving what I do, because I generally don't also see some of the things, because if you see in my videos and how I do some of my art, I never really envision the end. I don't really know how it looks like at the end. I just kind of flow, and it just kind of
Ah, that's beautiful, dude. You're talented.
I just kind of flow,
What?
and I say, and in a moment I'm like, okay, I can put this here, I can put that there. That'll look pretty cool here, and and then I just move on with it as I go with it. Yeah.
Dude, that's beautiful, man.
I mean,
Ah,
I think like the only thing that I would have is maybe uh what I'm trying to convey, or what I'm trying, like the theme of it, or just like how I want it to feel like, I guess. And then everything in terms of visual and how I execute it just kind of comes as I go.
mm. And I like that. Let it flow, free flowing. Let it do its thing. It almost comes without pressure, you know. And I know for myself, I've almost kind of put myself in a box, and a lot of people I've spoken to as well do the same. Where I mean, it's a passion, it's something you enjoy, it's something you love, but almost without realizing, for various reasons, you start putting yourself in a box. You start putting yourself under pressure to create, certain things. And I think one of the biggest things is societal trends, right? You want to make something that's gonna attract people, that people are really gonna like, and because of that, you're like, okay, I need to change my style. I need to keep up, and you
I
you
try and
stress
move away
out.
from that as much as possible.
How do you do that, man? Like, how do you stay true and to what you enjoy and what you're comfortable with, no matter what's going on around you, and especially on the internet, because it's all over and it's in our faces?
Like you said, just staying true. What do you want to do? Just putting your truth out there. Whatever you're experiencing, whatever it is that you want to put it out as it is. Don't try and you know and say, okay, no, this person's doing it like this, let me try to do that. No, it's your own journey. So make it very personal and make it about you. what you want to convey and what you feel like conveying, and just really staying true to that, and not trying to copy or try to, you know, yeah. I think that's like the biggest thing, really, just staying true to yourself mostly.
I hear that, and I think it's so true, but also the very same time easier said than done. Because now I'm thinking, and it brings me to another topic, which is commissions, right? And I know I've seen you've done a couple commissions, and like, what about a situation where what about a situation where you're doing commissions, and this really big one comes through, and this client is really willing and ready to pay, but it's not you, it's not something you stand for, it's not something you represent. How do you say no to that? Like, would you ever would you ever get a really really good commission, man, and it's like, this is big, this is gonna put me somewhere relevant, and
Yeah,
then it's just like not you, like how people are gonna see that work and view you. It's like, okay, so is this what Ru's doing now? Like, what's happening, like,
yeah.
would you say no?
I think it's a thing of um, compromising and trying to put yourself in the same, in the same space as this commission is as well. Like, it shouldn't be too far from what like your actual style is or what you want to do. I mean, talking to whoever's commissioning whatever, being like, okay, I have this certain idea, and can I incorporate this? Try just to negotiate as well, because it's a thing of they'll come with their idea, but then you can tell them that, what, I also do things in this style as well. I can incorporate it in this way, and I think if it's a thing whereby it's totally different and they don't want anything to do with what you do, it's kind of like hard to say how do they even come to you in the first place.
That's a very
You know?
good question.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing here, man? What made you come
Yeah.
to me? Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense, and I I understand what you're saying, and I know for me, no cap, just like off the bat, it would be very difficult. It would be very difficult. I think I would ultimately go through and you know after a lot of consultation and a lot of uh, advice, a lot of conversations, I would have to ultimately say no, but it would be difficult, because, like you're saying, it's not easy to be a creative where we're from. And when you get that opportunity, you're like, ah, snap. Oh, darn it. It had to be this one. you know, um, but I think those are real questions. Those are questions we need to ask ourselves, because at the end of the day, we're creative individuals first. And I think we found this thing before money was on the table. We found whatever it is we're into before money was on the table, and it made us genuinely happy. It made us genuinely happy, and it brought so much fulfillment. And uh, remembering that really does help make certain decisions matter, really does help make certain decisions count. And I know you've almost told us what it is that you're trying to do with your art. You're trying to tell a story, you're trying to challenge and speak about certain societal issues through your art and through your work. And remembering that all the time, remembering that, and almost using that as a pillar when things get a little bit shaky. And it could be things outside the financial aspects of wanting to be a creative, just general support, negative comments from the internet. It can be an array of different things, or creative block, just standing and leaning on the reason why we got into the first place is can do a world of good. So I think it's important for us to always remind ourselves why we got into it in the first place. Yeah. And I also just wanted to find out what else you're into, but I think you've already spoken about that in terms of you're in uni, and you probably have um a lot of your time swamped into that. And I wanted to know, is that why we haven't seen much activity from you on Instagram lately?
Yes. I mean, a lot of my time is going towards that, and it's a different way of thinking as well towards like being creative in a way, because what I'm studying mostly has to do with problem solving, so it's not really, it transcends from just being about you and what you want to say to um, you know, how can I make this person's life better, or how can I solve this problem for this person? So sure, you can put yourself in there as well. You can put a bit of your DNA into it as well. But a lot of the time is to do so. It's to do with like helping people and seeing whatever problem they bring to you and trying to solve it as best you can. So I'm trying to merge those two, some way, like in the future. So uh, it's been taking me quite a lot of time to go through my school and everything and do my honors now in my fourth year. So yeah, I'm hoping.
Congrats, bro. You've come far.
Yeah,
You've
yeah.
come far, man.
I really have, and thank God for that and this opportunity as well. And yeah, I think maybe after all this, after maybe this year, you probably see more of that, more of my art, more of my creative uh, endeavors and everything. So yeah, I've I've just been putting my head down, trying to get this thing done first, and then we'll see how it goes
You're such a chill guy, man. Like I
later
love your energy. And I can learn so much from that, bro. It's like, yeah, man, like
Yeah.
yeah, I haven't made any art, like I just really put everybody else first. I just want to take care of people and solve their problems before I enjoy my art. That's so selfless. And that is amazing. Like, nah, man,
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
really cool. I love your calmness about it. Like how when appreciate the art, you know what I mean? Like you're not it's beautiful because a lot of people and a lot of what you see is be consistent, like post every day, yeah, 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 all these things, and then you're just like, at my pace, at my time, I will create things, um and I think because you're also your biggest audience. Before anyone else sees it on Instagram, it satisfied you first. For me to sit down and record something and then actually post it, it's because I'm happy with it first. So you're your biggest audience, and yeah, you need to you need to be in a
You can't
space where
exactly. Yeah, you can't necessarily put out something that you're not proud of, or that you haven't
yeah.
really, that you haven't put in your 100% in. Definitely.
Mm. So
Yeah.
I understand and respect so much your approach to your work. And I guess from me, probably speaking for a lot of other people, there is no pressure, man. Like we would definitely love to see more of your work, but at your time, pace yourself and take it easy. And I'm glad you're doing that already. And it's also something that I've just recently learned, like I was just trying to do everything in life, creatively and otherwise. I was just trying to be in every little thing I can find myself to be doing. I wanted to do that, and then I realized it's not sustainable. It's not good for myself, and then it's also good enough. It's not good for my relationships as well. So I had to make decisions to cut back on certain things and just pace myself. I'm not saying I'm giving up on them or I'm abandoning them, but I'm just taking a break, taking it easy, taking it one step at a time, which I think you're doing very well. Which I think you're doing very well. But what's it been like not to be able to fully engage um, in art? I guess. Do you miss it? And
Yeah.
do you
Oh,
feel like
definitely.
you might be
Definitely.
a little bit rusty? What's it been like?
Oh, no, 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 not rusty per se. Like I in my spare time I always try to find some outlet or some sort in terms of my art and everything. And it's something I cannot live without. It's the longest standing thing. It's the longest standing thing in my life, to be honest with you. And
Yeah, besides God, yeah.
Yeah, besides God, definitely. So it's one of the
I'm just
longest
teasing.
standing things. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
It's one of the longest standing things in my life, and it's something that I always find joy in doing. Even if I'm not putting it out, or even if if I'm putting it out, it's a thing of I like doing it, so it's never gonna go away. And not being able to put it out, it's not like a. I have thought about it, and it's kind of made me kind of miss putting it out and showing it to the world as well. But I still enjoy it. I still enjoy just doing it as a whole. And whether I'm not putting it out, whether I'm putting it out, I really still enjoy what I'm doing. So yeah.
That's dope. And
Mm.
again, like I said earlier, it's beautiful to find something that you love. I've seen too many people, just go through life doing things that they don't enjoy because they feel like this is what I need to do, this is what I have to do, and they genuinely, yeah, and they're genuinely not happy. They are depressed and stressed, and it's not a yeah, it's not a really nice way to live. Um, but I think you're in a good space, and I think a lot of people can learn from you as well, which I think is super cool. Um, but I think when you look at your work and what you've done, um, at your art, what are you most proud of?
What am I most proud of?
Hmm.
Mm. um, that's a very hard question to answer actually, because I don't think I'm at that stage where, or I've put out something that I'm really like, oh yeah, this I can be extremely proud of. I mean, I'm very grateful for sure, for where I've come from and what I've put out there so far. And it really takes a lot for you to get to this stage where you can comfortably put out things, and it's uh, but something that I can say that I'm extremely proud of. I haven't gotten there yet. I haven't gotten there yet.
And it takes time. Like you said, it takes time to be here where you are right now, being in a place where you're comfortable enough, confident enough to release your work and share it, because the internet can be a cruel place, man. Like you get some very interesting random people who just are hell bent on critiquing everybody's work in some of the most interesting ways. So it takes a lot of courage, confidence, and grit to be able to uh, make content and share it. So I hope and pray, and like I've already said, to see more of your work, to see you continue to uh, create content and grow in that space, and also to see what you do in the architectural space, architectural design, I think you called it. Yep, interior, keen, and to see what you do in that space. And I can only imagine the kind of insane designs you're gonna come up with, man. Like it's gonna be really dope. But I think I just want to say I appreciate you coming through and
Hmm.
being on this podcast once again. We're
Hmm.
nearing the end. I'd
Okay.
just love to extend my gratitude and say thank you once again for being here. It does feel super short, right? Like it does feel
It
like,
does.
at least for
It
me,
does. Doesn't
at
feel like a
least for
long time
me,
at all.
at least for me. But just uh, I think the more I continue to do the podcast, the longer they'll become. Like this last year would have been too long, you know. I wouldn't have sat through this much or have had an easier conversation. But it's getting easy for me to just sit down and chat. I only have like maybe 3 or 4 more questions, and then we'll wrap it up. But I just wanted to say thank you, man. I really do appreciate you sharing and opening up and
Hmm.
all the stuff you had to say. It means a lot.
Definitely. Thank you for reaching out. Actually. Yeah, it's a good thing that you're doing here.
Appreciate it. I appreciate you saying that. And I just wanted to know what you feel has been your biggest lesson. I think I would have asked that, what has been your biggest lesson creatively speaking? But I want to ask what your biggest lesson has been, like your entire life. Like when you, it's huge. When you just look at your life, you look back and you're like, out of all the things I've learned, this has been one of the most. important ones, and this is what I've hold on to the most?
I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned is gratitude. Gratitude amongst a whole bunch of different lessons, but I think the biggest one is gratitude because I'm a very ambitious person, and um, I like um, you know achieving my goals. I like achieving things, and if I set my mind on something, I want to do it. But ambition without you know looking back and saying, "Oh, I really am grateful for how however long I've been doing this or where I came from to being here." It's gonna be in a very negative um, light because you're always gonna be asking yourself what's next or what should I do next, or you're never really gonna look back and sit back and like I thank God for all this, for taking me from this point to this point. And I find also in gratitude it helps you, it gives you more energy and it gives you more drive to say, okay, if I can come from this point to that point, I can definitely come from where I am now to to where I want to go. And it has been you know a very important thing in my life actually, just to be because I've been on the other side where I'm just like I'm trying to achieve and I'm trying to achieve and I'm trying to pinpoint and I'm trying to do this and do that, and it has a very negative impact, you know generally on how you do things. So I'd say gratitude, ambition, yes, have it in there, but also a bit of gratitude and just some self-reflection of where you've come from to where you're going. And I think it's very important. Yeah.
That's big, and I think I've just seen it a lot in most of our conversation today. Um, from having a family that's very supportive, and also just being able right down to just finding things that you love and enjoy. Um, it's in the little things, and I think for myself personally, it's very easy to go through life and always want the next thing. Um, just an example. It's like I'll get a camera and then I'll be like, okay, camera is not enough. I need better lighting, and then okay, lighting is not enough. I need better audio, which are not necessarily bad things to want to have. It's not what I'm saying, but it's failing to realize sometimes what I do have. It's like just as immediately as I get a new camera, I want the next best thing. I never sit down to marvel and reflect and just see how much I have. And it used to be a comparison game for me. It's like, oh man, like so and so has so much more than me, like which is a dangerous space to be in. But being grateful and uh, kind of looking at just myself when I didn't have one, now I have one. It's like that's a lot. That's a huge space. It's a huge space to be in, and it's a lot to celebrate. It's a lot to
Yeah,
cherish and hold on
and it
to.
also helps
So
you. Yeah, sorry, and it also helps you to like look back and try and help other people as well and bring them up to in that journey as well. Because if you're not grateful, you're never gonna step back and like, okay, who can I help? Who can I try and you know and put on a on on this path. And it's very important to always be grateful. Yeah.
that's the thing, right? That's um, the life lesson right there. What you've just mentioned. It's almost paying it forward, uh, because when you look at it, the things we're grateful for and the kind of things that happen in our life aren't of our own accord, and sometimes we can directly attribute them to another human being, and sometimes we can't. And in the times that we can't, I can almost guarantee you it's God. Like it's just God. So just yeah, what you just said is extremely powerful, because it's it's a lot of the times you will find yourself in a situation where you have to do something for someone that you needed someone to do for you not so long ago. Like I've seen that in my life for sure, bro. Like I've been in situations where I'm like, this was literally me. how can I not help when I was helped, bruh? Um, so, but again, like you said, coming down to gratitude and being grateful. If I didn't really marvel at and reflect upon and meditate upon a situation and how much it really did for me, I would have never been able to then come out of that and be like, okay, next time it's my turn to help. It's my turn to be a vessel. It's my turn to be an instrument or a servant, and help out the next person. So I think, yeah, definitely like um, learning a lot from you, and I appreciate that. Thanks. So yeah, I also just wanted to know, we also just spoke about it takes a lot to get to where you are,
Mm-hmm.
being able to be confident enough
Mm.
and resilient enough to post and share and work on things. And I guess, for lack of a better way to put it, be as good as you are. And I think then for people who'd be listening who want to be as good as you are, maybe not exactly at, it might not be arts specifically, but
Yeah.
anything in general, for you, and I know it's different for everybody, but for you, like, what was it that you did? um what kind of things did you put into practice, that you think really got you to where you are today?
I would say, most of the times we want certain things, right, in life, but we don't really understand how much it takes to to do that. You know, most of the times we don't. Most of the times, those things they take a lot more than you probably could imagine. And so you really need to just sit down and cut off a whole lot of things and just you know put your head down and really work towards it. And there's no other way. Playing long games is one of the biggest things that I really like doing. You know, eh, sure, a lot of people are talented. A lot of people have, you know, the opportunity to actually do things, but it's more to do with, you know, putting um, what you want now aside for what you want um, for yourself later on in your life, and just really, setting that aside, because a lot of people they just, they just they get comfortable, they take the easy way out, and they're like, okay, whatever we have now, yeah, whatever we have now, let's just do it now, and then they don't really focus on what they want, at this particular time or further on in the future. So yeah, I mean, also just opportunities as well. I mean, it's you can't really choose the life you're born into, but it's a thing of just from wherever you are, just start not comparing, not you know not trying to say, oh, this person is way better than me or anything. Just from wherever you are, just start you know just start setting your goals, start going for them, and start really pushing towards it.
I like that. Just start, man.
Yeah, just start.
Just look at it, what you want, and go for it. And you mentioned something there very profound. It's that concept of getting relaxed, or just settling, like, you know what, I'm cool where I'm at. It's a whatever thing. And I just, for me, I'm just like, man, we were made in the image of God. There's just so much that we are meant to do, and meant to be able to achieve, not just for ourselves personally, but just like for the world, and for the kingdom. So settling is just not an option, um, because we've got a powerhouse, backing us in terms of God. Um, so I appreciate you sharing that. Like, I think this is one that I'm gonna watch back a lot and just be like, "What did he say again? What did he
What did
say
you
that
say?
time? What did he say
Yeah,
again?"
yeah.
But yeah, man. Like, I think for me, from my end, that's it for today. I really, again, thank you and appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to sit down and chat. I do have 5 questions. I started playing a short game of Would You Rather. some crazy stuff that I've been asking. But I think
Okay.
it just allows us to kind of get to know the person a little bit more, how they
Okay.
think,
Okay. Cool.
and things like that. So I've got 5 questions. Would you rather questions?
All right.
I don't think these ones are too crazy. I've
Okay.
asked crazy ones.
Mm.
But the first one is: would you rather take an all expense paid dream vacation every year for a month, or have the job of your dreams?
Job of my dreams.
You wouldn't take 1 month to anywhere you want, all expenses paid every year.
I mean,
Hey,
after
bruh, I like
after
traveling.
after a few years, you're gonna go through all the things. I mean, you're gonna go through all the places you
No
want
way,
to.
you can't travel to everywhere. No ways. Come on,
Okay,
my
no,
G.
no,
No
but
ways.
nah. I think I don't know. A job is a more of a lifetime thing. I mean,
What's the job of your dreams then? Let's
job of
hear
my
that.
dreams. Yo, that's a much
Hmm.
much deeper question. That needs a whole nother podcast.
That's it. A whole nother episode.
A
A
whole nother
part two.
episode.
A whole part two.
Yeah, yeah,
No, we'll definitely get into that because
mm,
I'm keen to have you back on when you do
yeah.
get back into it.
Mm,
Probably graduate. So we'll leave that for a part two. That's fine.
okay,
No pressure.
yeah. Mm.
um. Okay. The second one is: would you rather know how above or below average you are at everything, or know how above or below average people are at one skill or talent just by looking at them?
The
Just,
one way you have to look at people and know
okay, where would you use that?
people. Just I have a very process. I have a keen interest in people and how they think and how they
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
yeah how they act and mean. I mean, sure. I mean, I can see you can sort of understand how you are where you are in life. Just
Yeah,
by
I think deep down you know. Deep
you
down
deep
you
down
know.
you do know you definitely
Yeah.
know. But people,
Hmm.
nah, and it's people for me are a very interesting topic. I really like
Complex beings, are they not?
yeah, yeah, very. Oh. And just like the psychology behind how people think, how people act, and whatever their
Hmm.
skills are and all that stuff. I mean, it's very interesting for me. So yeah, I like
I dig that.
observing.
I dig that.
I'm more of an observer than I am of yeah.
A doer. You're not the guy in front making all the noise. You're the guy in the back
I
watching
mean,
everybody else make noise.
I observe and I do. I observe
I
and
like
I
that.
and I do accordingly. I guess.
Strike the balance.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is: would you rather give up using a phone or tablet forever, or give up having any salt in your food? Like, what the heck?
Sauce in my food.
Salt, man.
Salt.
Salt. Not.
Salt in my food.
Yes, sir. Ah, this is a tough one.
Yeah, I can't give up. I can't give up salt, man. Salt. I love my food.
Bro, no comms, no tablet, no. Imagine walking around with your laptop for communication, bro. Like,
I love my food, man. I really love my food. Don't mess with my
you,
food.
you. This is definitely giving me a lot to talk about in the next one. So I'm not going. I'm not even gonna ask. I'm not even gonna ask. We're just gonna leave it at this
I
gent
mean,
would rather have salt in his
I mean,
food
it's it's
than
it's,
a
it's
tablet
my
or phone.
it's my tablet and my phone. I can always use someone else's tablet
You're smart. You're twisting it.
and
Oh, that's cheeky.
phone.
Okay, I didn't even think of that. I did not even think of that. Okay, well said. That's super cheeky. Okay, the next one is: would you rather get a postcard every day from a stranger in a different country? It's weird. Or a 10-minute call with anyone in the world you choose once a year?
10-minute call, definitely.
Oh, obviously, right?
Obviously. Oh,
Imagine
I'll
the
learn
kind of
so.
people in the
I'll
world you
learn.
could
Yeah,
ring up and learn from.
yeah, yeah. I'm learning so much from
Who would be
definitely.
three people on that list that you would ring up?
It's a tough one. It's
I
a tough
mean,
one.
I mean,
There,
you've
there, there
got
are a lot. There are a
one
lot of
call every
people.
year.
There are a lot of people.
Just name three. It's not. We're not saying they're the most important, but like
Yeah,
the first three that comes to your mind. Yeah, like
I'd probably put Elon Musk there. You know, like, yo, dude, so
okay.
what are you doing next? You know, just so
Like what up, man? Like how's it going?
how's it going? Yeah.
Mm.
Two other people. Probably you have to do something to do with music. Someone who's in music, definitely. I love music. I really am into music. I play guitar and I play drums as well. So um, it's
No
one of my passions.
way,
So
bro.
yeah, I'll
This
probably come into
gents.
that.
Ah, what a legend.
And then I think the last person would be probably a comedian or something. So just just relax.
You're into comedy as well.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite comedian currently?
Uh, I say Trevor, of course. I mean, I've read his books as well. His book.
Mm.
So yeah, it's a really interesting book. And yeah.
Yeah, you've got a certain Trevor Noah energy to like cool, calm, collected. No pressure, easy going.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you can see it. You can see it. I appreciate that. Okay, one more. The last one is: would you rather always live 10 miles from where you were born? So, which hospital were you born in?
Baines
Yeah,
Hospital.
okay. So 10 miles of Baines Hospital. Can't leave that area, right?
Okay.
Or never be able to settle down in one place for more than 1 year. So
Yo.
basically moving every single year. So every
I mean,
single year
can I
you're
can I can
moving.
I repeat places?
Yeah, you can repeat places. You just can't settle down in that one place for a year. You can
Oof.
do 2 years over 5 years, but like
Yeah.
not consecutively, right? Yeah.
Hectic. I'll probably move around. I like I like adventure. I like exploring, and I like being in different places. So yeah, I'll probably move around.
This Jen says he likes exploring, but won't take the dream vacation every year for a month.
I mean, what you had put it up against? I mean, obviously, no.
I put it up a
But what
dream
had you
job.
put?
Okay, fair enough. I put
Yeah,
it up
yeah,
a dream job.
yeah,
Okay, that makes sense. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I think I definitely move around as well. I
yeah.
definitely move around every year. Uh, I've moved around a lot growing up, and it's not fun. No cap.
It's not. Yeah,
just,
I understand.
just
But also
moving
being
houses is
confined.
stressful. Yeah, but
Also
then being
being
confined as well,
confined. Oh,
being born in
like
that
I've
area, being raised. I've, I've seen
it
it on
opens.
TV, man.
Yeah, it opens
I've
up your
seen it on.
mind. Just moving around opens up your mind, and it's just really,
Yeah,
yeah.
it does. It does. It exposes you to a lot that you wouldn't have been
Mm,
exposed if you were kind
mm,
of stuck in one space. And I've seen it on
yeah.
TV
Mm,
of people who, people on the news are like, I was born in this area. I grew up. I went to school. I was married. I had kids and grandkids in this area. And I'm
wow,
like, gents,
wow.
wow,
It
that's insane, bro. 80 years
is.
in the same
It
space
really
is
is.
crazy
It
for
really
me.
is.
I don't know if
It's
I could. I
crazy.
don't know if I could.
Yeah.
But thank you, man. Thank you, Rue,
Mm.
for being here. You've been an incredible guest.
Thank
And
you
I
so
wish you all
much
the
for having
best
me.
in your journey. Yeah, man, it's been an honor.
Yeah.
Wish you so much. Wish you the best. Hey, wish you the hey. Hey. I've been talking for a while.
Nice, man.
Woo! I wish you all the best in your journey and everything you have going on. I know an honors
Yeah.
year is a difficult one, so I will be praying
Yeah.
for you this end and constantly checking in and seeing how you're doing. And I can't wait to do a part two. Thank you, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.